my fellow comic book collectors. It's Alan, Comic Collector Geek, and I'm at the Ottawa Comic-Con, and I'm joined with Lee Jordan of Komico, and he's a dealer at this event. And I just wanted to get sort of the dealer perspective of how this event went, and what is his impressions of the whole thing.
So comic shows have changed quite a bit through the years. There's not too many comics at a comic show anymore, strangely enough.
Yeah, it's weird. This is actually called the Comic-Con.
Yeah,
and like very little comics.
So I have a little joke about that where I say like it still is a Comic-Con, whereupon they con the comic dealers into coming here. So it is indeed a Comic-Con. Under the auspices that there's going to be a lot of comic book fans. So there aren't as many comic book fans at these shows for
I see
sure.
a lot of anime.
A lot of anime, a lot of pop collectors. Like if you want pops, this would definitely be like the place to check out.
Like literally right across from him is a pop dealer.
Pop World, and Costco. So just to show you the variety of stuff, we have the Costco membership sign up, pops, just everything. So not much comics left, but there still are the hardcore comic dealers. I've been doing shows for over 40 years, and just as it's been going, comic books have been a smaller part of these bigger shows all the time. But now, because of that phenomenon, just small little comic shows are starting to make a resurgence again. So we've attended quite a few that, one in fact here in Ottawa, you're not allowed to bring anything but comics.
I love that one. That's a really good one.
If you bring something else, I don't even think they'll let you in, or you'll have to take it down. So that's really cool. Obviously, the cost involved in these big shows as well, too, is a lot.
Yeah.
And I think that's what turns comic dealers off a little bit as well, too, because we're not always selling like $100 items like swords and stuff like this. So I'll tell you what, that seems to be one of the biggest draws at these things is swords.
Oh, really?
It's crazy. At the Montreal show last year, we were next to a sword guy.
Okay.
And if that guy didn't sell like $30,000 or $40,000 worth of swords,
wow.
Yeah.
That's
and I was
crazy.
like, I even asked one of the kids buying him, like, what are you doing with this thing? And he's like, well,
they're not sharp.
No, they're sharp.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, they were sharp. Yeah, I even asked about this. I'm like, hey, you have to check like your fake gun at the thing, but are these sharp? The guy took out a piece of paper and sliced it right in half. I'm like,
wow. Okay.
So what's stopping somebody?
I thought they weren't allowed to sharpen them.
No, they're sharp.
That's so funny.
They're sharp.
Wow, that's crazy. And they give him to like a little kid.
It was a teenage kid.
Yeah, but still.
Well, they'll make adults put their toy guns away at the side, but
But these real sharp swords.
Yeah, and I asked the kid, like, so what are you going to do with this thing? And he's like, well, I'm going to put it on my wall, I guess,
Okay.
I said, okay, so like in 10 years, if you get married, like, and your wife doesn't want swords on the wall, I said, what do you do with it? Like, can you sell it for more than what you paid for it? Like a comic book might happen?
Yeah.
No. He's like, no, it's not worth it.
I don't think they're worth anything.
Yeah, so I just don't get it. Like, unless you really like swords. And I noticed it's all like young boys. And when I brought my son to the show, first thing he wants, knives.
So one of the things that happened with me at Toronto Comic-Con was I went with my kids.
Yeah.
The whole time I'm trying to look through the long boxes, spend some time.
Yeah.
My son was just poking me the whole time.
Knives.
So I'm like...
Swords.
No, he was like, okay, I'll get you something just to leave me alone.
Sure.
So I bought him a sword.
There you go.
See?
My son, the same thing too. When I brought him the first time to one of the first shows, straight to the sword guy. I want a knife.
Good.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
Good
thing they don't sell guns. Good thing they don't sell guns.
Yeah, I remember the dead.
Yeah.
But how have you found, like, do you feel like the market is still hot for comics, or?
Listen, I've been around for a long time, so I've seen quite a few
Up and down?
upsurge. Yeah, so it definitely went a little too up during COVID. Like for the back issue stuff, the prices just went crazy. People had too much time.
Well, you didn't have
money.
any, like, where were you selling comics during COVID? Like,
I own a store, so like after the 3 months that you had to be closed, you just took back up. I literally, after working non-stop for 40 years, kind of took a break during. I was happy about COVID. Okay. I've never had more than I think 12 days off in a row previous to that.
It's the life of a business person.
Correct. Yeah, comics seller pretty much. Yeah, if you got to shop, it's brutal.
Yeah. But did you find that you were switching to more online sales during COVID or anything like
No,
that?
I personally really took a break. I'm maybe the wrong guy to be asking.
Okay, I'm just
We
asking.
used to sell quite a bit on eBay. I have like almost 10,000 items sold on eBay.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, but we've really stopped pretty much. I still have a few things listed, but they've just taken such a bigger chunk out of everything now. I'm not the only one complaining about it.
Okay.
And sales in it have slowed down because of the way they've restructured their banking system. So as soon as they got rid of PayPal, we had to provide a bank account number for them to transfer the money into.
Oh, yeah.
Once they found that out, I had been listing on ebay.com. It would seem all my stuff now gets listed on ebay.ca because they found out I'm in Canada, even though I'm registered on ebay.com. So
yeah, it's one of those annoying things. People don't like buying from Canadians, I find.
Unless you're in Canada.
Yeah.
You know, so we did sell a lot in Canada, but like even when I do searches for stuff on a computer that doesn't know it's me, my stuff never turns up. Like there's a gazillion things before your stuff turns up. So
it makes it hard.
Yeah, unless you've got something really unique. You know, it's and people are complaining about the shipping prices have gone up. Everything's gone up. So to buy
shipping from Canada is brutal.
Yeah, and you're not going to buy a $5 comic on eBay anymore. It's too expensive.
So do you
Hey, I still like comics though. So yeah, I'm not all negative.
Not all negative. So do you find that there's this that prices have really corrected and you have to kind of fire sell a bit?
I think they could correct a little bit more.
Okay.
I myself did not go crazy with the prices during stuff. You did have to.
Because your prices are actually quite reasonable.
Yeah,
I bought a ton of stuff from this guy.
Yeah.
So
my philosophy is I want to sell the stuff so I can buy more stuff. So if I price it too high, it won't sell. It'll look great on my wall, and everybody will come by and say, "Hey, look at that comic." I'm interested in selling that comic.
And do you find you're getting more collections coming to you or anything like that, or?
No, it's like always the same as it's been. Yeah. Although I must say, like, as sad as it is, a lot of customers are getting older, less space, maybe downsizing. In fact, a few customers pass away as well too.
Okay.
So that's a thing.
Do you find that, like, actually, one thing that just happened before we did this conversation was a young kid bought 2 Howard the Ducks.
Oh, yes.
I was just shocked by that because he was pretty young.
He was very young, and, well, I don't know if you noticed what he was wearing as well, too. So he had a sweatshirt, had a Hulk 181 on the back,
that's right.
And an X-Men number 10 on the front, I think, or something, like original X-Men 10. So, yeah, he was into
comics.
Well, I think he was into Kiss.
Yeah, Kiss.
Yeah,
which
more
is really
than
weird.
Yeah, he was. I asked him, "Are you in the Kiss Army?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm in the Army."
Yeah. That's weird that he knew. Yeah, he's part
so
of that.
It's refreshing when you see the young kids coming back into it because there's certainly not a lot of them. That's
do
for sure.
you see many young kids at the store? Or? No, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking it's all people like our age.
Pretty much, yeah. Well, I mean, no, I do have some. I would say there are some like 16 to 25-year-olds.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
But are they into comics or are they into more the manga?
I only sell comics.
Okay.
I do not sell. Well, we have a couple of pops and stuff, but if we sell toys, they got to be like really comic book related.
But you don't sell manga or anything like that?
Nope.
Or? Okay.
Just good old American comic books.
American comic
And
books.
because we're in Quebec, I can't legally sell. I can. I can sell French comics, but if I do so, I would have to.
I'll catch you next time.
All right, Norm, take it easy. If I do, I would have to change all the advertisements in my store.
To
French and half-size English, and because Marvel and DC don't give a flying you-know-what about Quebec, they do not they don't make French posters. So I cannot sell French comics, because if I do, I have to get rid of all the English advertising for all the English books. Yeah.
The silly rules that they have in Quebec were French first.
Yeah. So we have people who are like hardcore French guys, and come in and say, "Do you sell French comics?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not allowed." And they're like, "What do you mean you're not allowed?" I'm like, "Well, if I do, I explain to the situation." And they're like, "My God, that's ridiculous." I'm like, "You voted these guys in."
Yeah. So actually, would you mind recounting the story of the nylons?
Okay, so I read this back, I guess, maybe in the 1990s. So back in the early 70s, your only way to get comic books was either in a pharmacy or a United Cigar store, a newsstand or whatever. So they had racks, very similar to this one, if you'll turn the camera around. my spinner rack, my old-time spinner rack. So that's how you sold your comics if you had a store. In the 70s, all women wore nylons, bar none. Like every single woman pretty much wore nylons. And there was a company called Legs that sold nylons in this little cup thing. It looked like an eggshell, almost a giant eggshell. And they were sold on sort of similar spinner racks. So when they started selling them, they went around to all the newsagents and the pharmacies and said, hey, do you want to put up one of these racks and sell some nylons? Many times the store owners would say, well, we already have a comic rack and we don't really have a lot of room in the place, so no. So then they'd say, well, listen, how much money do you make selling comic books? The comic book prices were at the time were either 15 or 20 cents. So they're like, well, we make like 4 cents or 5 cents every time we sell a comic book. And they're like, well, nylon sell for $2.99 and you get 99 cents every time we sell a nylon. So in the space of like 6 months, one of these Midwest news distributors had several thousand racks returned to them because they were being replaced with these nylons. So many so that DC were actually worried that they may go bankrupt because they had nobody to, they were losing all kinds of distribution points for their comics. So many people, if you're looking at this and you read comics, you think, wow, the 70s were so great. The companies were so benevolent. They gave us 100 pages for $1. They gave us all these oversized comics. It was only to make more money for the guys selling comics so that they wouldn't get rid of the racks and replace them with nylon. So
yeah, because you can, if you're only making 4 cents a comic when it's a certain size.
Correct. You would certainly make
a higher percentage. Yeah,
and like as much as nylon sold, I think in those days comic books probably sold more than nylons.
I hope so.
Yeah,
I hope
because
so.
everybody bought comic books back in those days. So eventually that's why the higher priced books came out, and soon after comic book stores started, and then it wasn't a factor anymore. So yeah, it's really an interesting story.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, it's weird to think of nylons having that weird
putting comic books out of business.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy.
The nylon age.
Pretty crazy.
So anything you want to tell people, like
read comics. It's get them in your hands. Don't read them on a Kindle. It's a whole experience. The art is nicer in person. It's not the dying art many people think it to be. There's a lot of really cool stuff still coming out.
Okay.
I still sell weekly comics. I still get comics every week. I'm still excited to open the boxes. I'm still always intrigued to see what's coming out. So don't drop your phone. Don't overlook comics.
And just quickly, where can people find you?
We are currently in Montreal on a street called Chemin de la Côte de Neige, or Côte de Neige Boulevard. 6000 is the address, and we are on the 5th floor of an office building. We moved in there last year. Kind of a weird situation, but we're liking it quite a bit. We don't have a sign up or anything, but you just come up the door, jump up the elevator, room 530, and you'll find it. Best view of any shop in the world, almost.
Yeah, it's weird that I've never seen a comic shop on usually they're on the first floor.
Yeah, actually, when I first started collecting, the first guy selling comic books in Montreal worked out of an apartment building, like on the 18th floor of a super high-rise. Yeah, his name was Max Seeley.
That's really weird.
Yeah, mid-70s.
So, other than that, can people find you online, or?
We have a website, komico.ca.
I will put the link in the description to this video. And, you can check out his store.
And we also sell on eBay still, but we used to have a eBay store with the store's name, but now I'm just selling like without the store. I just have stuff listed, and the username is not the store's name. The username is, get ready, Chic Your Booty.
Chic Your Booty.
Yeah, he'll have to put a link in it as well.
Definitely, I'll put a link in the description for Chic Your Booty.
It's a Frank Zappa album title. That's
okay, so
a little weird.
So thanks everyone for watching. Definitely check him out. Really good stuff. Really good prices as well. So. Bye for now, everyone.
Take care, folks.